Alright guys, after finally getting everything done, I'm ready to start cutting. But I figured I'd shoot a video out, like I said, to just show you what I did with my machine and what I had. This is just my setup. Figured maybe it'd give you some ideas. I kind of seen some stuff on YouTube and I incorporated it throughout different areas of my little contraption here. So let's get started. I'll show you a little bit about it. I got a nice little keyboard and mouse holder in the front. It swivels slightly, you know. You just keep the mouse over there if you want, or I just put it in there and I set it off to the side, or I set it up top here when I'm not using it. And this little thing is removable so that if you want to get it out of the way, it just sits on this little metal rod. I just use some square metal. Made it out of MDF. Works pretty good. Put some nice pine doors on it with a nice faceplate just to make it look decent in the front, because I got to stare at this thing so long. Here's my controls, the vac router and the shut off switch. Got it all wired to where it all runs outside of the enclosure. That's half the battle. Got hooked up to a little LED TV. Works pretty good. I built the whole enclosure out of this styrofoam stuff you can get at Home Depot. It's 1 inch or 1 1/4 inch. I don't know, there's the thickness of it. But this is actually my dust collection bin too. And that's pretty cool. I just got this door on the front. I'm not really super worried about the noise, but I just wanted to keep it a little quiet because I do have neighbors, just in case I did want to come in and do a little work. I got a little shop vac in there screwed to the wall. 2 Home Depot buckets. And they go on top there. I got the line coming from the center up to that. But I can show you the video on that. Matter of fact, I'll see if I can put a link up in the corner for you on how to make one of them. It works really good. This is the second one I've made. The first one I had, it was attached to the shop vac, and the shop vac was too big for my shop, so I just ended up selling it. Selling the whole thing. So, but this is held on by 1 screw. You take that screw out, and this whole panel lifts out. And the back one is removable. You just move these tabs out of the way, and it comes out. Had to run my hose from underneath and come around the corner. I goofed up on it once, so I had to plug it. If you do the top of this, you're going to want to put some supports in. I just got a 3/4 inch MDF for my TV to set on, but I put a 2x4 in there to make the roof more rigid. And I'm probably going to go underneath and make some washers up and run some screws up through the bottom just to lift this roof up more so it's not bouncing around. But we'll go ahead and open this up. I put insulation on the inside of the doors. Just rather regular weather stripping just to keep the dust in, and that was one of my main concerns, was dust, because I'm going to be working with MDF a lot and I don't want to be breathing that crap. So I made my spoil board. It's got inserts every 3 inches, and I also just put a grid on it. I just got done with this. I figured I'd put the video out before I start actually trying to make money with this thing. But they're every 1 inch, the whole grid. I put the debris guards up. They're 1/4 inch MDF. Ran them into the legs. There's little plastic brackets. And I think these are 5.5 inches tall. And it might have a tendency to bow, so you might have to put a little support in or a bumper or something. I just put a bumper in just in case I hit it with that dust chute on the right there, so that, you know, it won't hurt anything. It'll just move like that, and the machine stops if it hits it. I've already done it once. But here's one downside to this, is when you get that dust collection vacuum attachment, you end up losing this much travel. Alright, this was before I put that on, and then I put it on and I didn't even realize it, and I lost that much on this side. And with this debris guard up, I also lost 1.25 inches on this side. So I lost a good bit, but it's still 28 inches wide and 32 inches long. So I still got way bigger than the Bob CNC. And this machine is just, it's phenomenal. It's really tough. I can't believe it. But anyway, let's get back to it. You'll see when you start running it how the difference is. I just put this in today too. I was having troubles with my hose because it's just a regular vacuum hose. And it kept getting kinked up over here in the corner. I was worried it was going to rip one of the wires out for that stepper motor. And it kept folding itself in and stuff, so my vacuum was having a hard time. I only got a little vacuum, so pressure is key. You know, I'm trying to keep pressure. So I just took a 4x4 and I cut it, you know, 4 inches long, and I drilled a hole through it and stuffed a piece of pipe in it, and then I made another pipe that went over that, and that is that upright pipe. And then I took 2 45s and another small piece of pipe, put the 45s together, and then ran it out. I feel I should have ran it out a little bit further, but that's alright, I'll live with it. It works really well. And I put a little thing on the end of it to hold it so that the zip ties don't come off, because I have it zip tied to it. So all you gotta do is snip it out if you want to pull that off. It's not that big of a deal. And if you do decide to mount your control box up here, because the enclosure is 20 inches tall from the bottom to the roof is 20 inches. And I mounted it a little lower. You can see where I had it before. You know, that much lower. And I'll bring this forward so that you can see what I'm talking about, but I'll move it 20 inches. But you see how that thing comes up? It was hitting it. You can see right where it hit it. Right there. So I had to move it up. So if you do that, make sure you have clearance for this guy. But that was the only hang up I had with that. But it's working good so far. The machine groans and stuff. I haven't really asked around yet why it's doing it or not, but when it goes across and it gets about midway section, either way, and it starts groaning a little bit. I don't know if I have my worm drive screws too tight or not tight enough or what. It says you're not supposed to move them, but gosh, if I tighten that anymore, I don't know. I'm just a newbie at this machine. You know, I'm used to the Bobs, and it's a way different machine. But I'm impressed with it so far. It flattened that, and when I started with this pass, that actually went down 0.08, and I must have not zeroed it right or something. It went down about 1/8 of an inch, and the machine did not have any issue with it, but the bit did not like it, and the router did not like it. It almost stalled the router out. You know, you'll have these things once in a while. Do yourself a favor too. Let me see if I can take this back out of the way here. Do yourself a favor when you're going to mount your spoil board to your actual surface. Do not put screws right in the corner to hold it down. You don't want to put it that tight, because I made that mistake and it split on 3 different areas for me. And if you look back here, you see how it gets thicker? The lines right there, and then they stop and they get back to normal. What happened was it ripped back here too. I didn't notice it, so then I had to punch it a couple more times to try to figure out the right spot to put it, and then I put another screw in, and that's what corrected that. So it's nice and smooth now. See that? And it's actually decent. For that, you're going to want accuracy, best accuracy you can get. So this piece of MDF, your spoil board, has to be exactly flat, you know, for you to get the best results out of it. I'm not sure what else really to show you. If you have any questions or anything, just let me know, and I'll see if I can come up with some different material for you as well. I'm going to be making an L bracket that's going to bolt. It's going to have that hole, that hole, that hole, and that hole, and it's going to sit right in there like that. That way I can just put pieces of MDF up, 1/4 inch, 2 foot by 2 foot pieces of MDF up, and just slide them up there, and you know, make them bulk, make all my stuff bulk. I'm planning on using cam clamps and a couple different other things, you know, I'm going to be trying. So I would recommend getting the dust chute if you are working with MDF, because it's extremely dusty. yeah, other than that, big shout out to Garrett from IDC Woodcraft. He's the one that basically showed me about the Longmill, and I was working with him with the bobs before, and I was having issues with it. The Bob CNC, when he was still running his, that's when I bought mine, and I was trying to collab with him a little bit to come up with some solutions for a couple things I was running into, and he hopped on board with this, and I had to do the same thing because the bobs was just, it wasn't holding true. It wasn't, I was getting very poor cuts, very poor results because of excess tension in the Z-travel. The extra tension, plywood couldn't hold it still enough. It can't. There's no way for it to, when you start doing cutouts and stuff that you're going to get a little bit of torque on that Z-travel, the bobs will flex back and forth. I mean, you can reach up here and grab it on the bobs and you can move it. This one you can't move at all. So that's why I decided to go with it. And it was basically the same price. The only difference was it did not come with the spoil board. But it did come with a emergency shutoff. And if I could have had this on the outside, it also does have the buttons. I'm sure you've seen that with everybody else. I just used the software buttons. You got the pause and play and stop button on there, so I just used that instead. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to have this enclosed or not. I'll just keep it really clean. I'll you know, dust it off every time I use it or whatever. But yeah, it's basically my setup, and I'll start shooting some more videos of stuff, and you know, anything that I feel is important for anybody that's going to be having one of these machines to know. But thanks again for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Have a good one.